Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to the Sports Buffoons studio out here in Lenexa, Kansas, guys. We have Tanner Dawson here to my right, Jason
Hello,
JG
everybody.
to my left. What's going on, fellas?
How we doing today?
What are you wooing for?
I'm wooing about this Dragon's Milk Solera. I'm drinking the Solera Dragon's Milk. It's amazing.
Dragon's Milk Solera. What are you drinking, Tanner?
I got me a little whiskey and club soda.
Wow, you're getting older by the second, Tanner.
Hey.
I expected better out of you at some point. Get a little creative here every once in a while, and now we're moving to gin and tonic soon. Pretty soon.
I don't know if I'll go that far.
It's gonna be vodka with.
I got a really old bottle of gin behind Jason right now, so
yeah, it's probably been there for about 3 years.
Well, pretty soon he's gonna be
than
drinking
that.
what I was drinking in my early 20s, which was Hypnotic. That's what it gets. Now he'll move into that when he's in his 50s.
Yeah, who doesn't like Hypnotic? That's always a good drink. I mean, yeah, why not? Well, we have a lot to get to though as far as the games go, and obviously we're talking about fantasy here to kick it off, as well as digging in some Chiefs. And we have a little fun topic for you here at the end. We're going to be talking about some drunk coaches in history, and then we'll also be discussing our top 5 quarterbacks currently in the NFL as of the first 4 weeks of the season, and our rankings, where they're all going to be very, very different from what I can tell so far. But, guys, you might have noticed, if you're watching here on the YouTube channel, at Sports Buffoons, I got myself a couple drinks over here, a couple beers. I got myself a tall boy, which is dangerous, Maple Pecan Yeti from Great Divide. So, one of my favorite breweries ever. It's a pretty solid beer. I mean, it's coming in at 9.5% ABV. It's a solid sipper. And so I'll be sipping on that. But then, guys, it's still pumpkin season. So, Halloween is coming up here in 3 weeks. And I got myself the Schlafly Pumpkin Ale, probably the most famous pumpkin ale ever, in the history of pumpkin ale. So you see this bad boy out everywhere. So at some point during the episode, guys, if you're following along either on Spotify or YouTube, you hear a little ka-ching coughing up, then that means I'm opening the next bottle. So we have a party on our way.
I'm proud of you, my friend. It's a good time to be breaking out the tall boys.
Absolutely,
sure,
absolutely. Yes. Speaking of that, I want to be proud of you, Jason, because you have a little redemption to do, I think, today. Now, if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago, Jason gave some predictions on our stardoms of the week for fantasy, and things did not go as planned. His 2 players he picked totaled 2 points between the both of them, one point each for each player he picked. And now keep in mind, this isn't supposed to be obvious choices, but this week we're hoping to redo the stardom situation between the 3 of us and see what we can do and come about and do a little better for our audience. Maybe be a little better at what we do here for the sake of you guys out there listening who do care about what our input is out there. So, fantasy football stardoms of the week. We each should have at least 2 picks here. And I want to start off, Tanner. I want to hear your input on who are your starters of the week, no matter what.
who are my starters of the week no matter
Who's your
what?
starter?
Be a little bit better, Tanner. Be a little bit better.
Build back better, Tanner.
Look, I know you guys said this, but I got a reach. I got a reach coming into play, and this is due to an injury that happened over last weekend. One of my stardoms this week, guys, Khalil Herbert, running back for the Bears. David Montgomery's out. Damian Williams is the main guy. They're facing the Raiders, who just gave up a bunch of points to Eckler and Jackson. I don't see Damian Williams sticking around for getting the majority of the load. I think it's going to be more of a split backfield. And this is a Bears team that is a running team. They are a running team. That's why David Montgomery is so successful on this team. Because Justin Fields ain't going to have time. It doesn't matter if Andy Dalton or Justin Fields are back there. They can't get the ball to the receivers. So I'm looking here at Khalil Herbert to not just get – I don't think he'll get a lot of rushing yards, but I think he'll be more of a receiving back coming in this offense with Montgomery out the next 4 to 5 weeks.
He should be on the waivers, right? For almost every league out there.
He's currently on waivers.
Mm-hmm.
So hold that thought, Tanner. Before you go on, I want to ask you a question. Is Khalil Herbert the best Herbert in the NFL, or is it Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert's on a different level.
Okay. Just to be clear, because we're not,
Who's
a lot
the
of
best
people.
Khalil in the NFL? It's definitely the one on the Bears defense.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
I just want to be clear. Who's the
Been really put into play. So that's an option there. Corey Davis is my other starting stardom Corey Davis. He's facing the Atlanta Falcons, 7th worst defense in fantasy, according to Yahoo. This guy, they're coming off a win. The Jets are an actual win, which is weird, versus the Titans, and they're shitty Titans. So I think Corey Davis is going to dominate this Falcons defense like he did the Titans defense. Corey Davis had 21 points last week versus the Titans defense. Zach Wilson kind of came alive, and I don't know, they just seem to be passing a lot more on that offensive side. Now I see Corey Davis, he always leads the way anyways, but we're not in bye weeks yet. That's next week, but the Jets are going into a bye in next week. So now they're just going to be passing and really letting them loose and try to get that second win against the Falcons team that's iffy this year.
Yeah, that's actually a good one, too. I believe in – because the connection right now between Wilson and Corey Davis looks pretty solid, so I think that's going to be good throughout the year. I'm going to go next because we have a drum roll for Jason to make sure he redeems himself. So here we go. I have a couple guys on my list, and one of them is Hunter Renfrow versus the Bears. So in this case, I just like Renfrow a lot this season especially. He's got double-digit points in all 4 games to start off the year. He's been targeted 6 or more times also in every game so far this year. So I think they're going to look to him to be their absolute clutch weapon to be using in underneath short yardage situations. And especially, here's the thing, guys. The Bears have now had 15 sacks by their defense so far in this short season. So 15 sacks in 4 games. We all know Derek Carr struggles whenever you get pressure on him. So
yes, he does.
We're going to see more of the same. Whenever you're getting pressured, what do you want to look for? Your hot route. You want to get that hot route involved, get the short passing game involved, because you don't got time to be sitting there chucking it down to Henry Ruggs 50 yards downfield, because that D-line is going to be on your ass right away. So Hunter Renfrow absolutely should be a must-start this week. I see him, putting up somewhere at least around 7 catches for 80 yards receiving, and then maybe get a touchdown in there. My next guy, guys, if you're debating in your head, depending on your quarterback situation, I like Matt Ryan versus the Jets.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a great matchup for Matt Ryan to work in here. He's currently got 8 touchdowns, 3 picks on the year. But I watch for Matt Ryan here to put up like a 30-burger against the Jets defense, because as we know, the defense isn't good, and the Falcons normally do better when beating up on the weaker teams. And this is a chance to have kind of a shootout, most likely, because I could see also the Jets picking on the Falcons, porous defense as well. So I think that we see a lot of involvement between Cordell Patterson, who's had a great year, and Calvin Ridley should continue to put up great numbers. So yeah. I see that being a matchup for Matt Ryan to throw at least 3 touchdowns and somewhere around 300 to 350 yards passing in this game against the Jets. Now, Jason,
what do you got?
Jason, redemption. What do you got for the week?
This is my redemption, okay, guys? So just to be clear here, I'm completely sober right now, so that makes a difference. So now you're going to get my sober picks of the week. So for my stardoms, I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanders. Now, I understand that he's not the number 1 or the number 2 option for the Buffalo Bills, but playing against the Chiefs at Arrowhead, they're going to have to score a lot of points. And so I'm looking at the targets for Emmanuel Sanders. The first 4 weeks, he's had 8 and then 6, 6, and 6. And he exploded in week 3 versus Washington. So Emmanuel Sanders, we're going to take him to the bank this week. On my sober week, he's going to blow up. And my next guy is going to be Jalen Waddle. And the reason I picked Jalen Waddle is because you got Will Fuller going on injured reserve. So, Jalen Waddle, he's played against some above-average defenses so far, but now he's going up against Tampa Bay, who has a little bit to prove. So, Tampa Bay, not a great defense, at least at this point in the season. You look at Jalen Waddle's targets. He's gone for 5, 8, 13, and 4. I think he's going to get more targets with Will Fuller out. So I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle as my number 2 stardom. And then just as a little teaser for you guys, I'm a Robert Woods owner, but I can't stand the guy. So I'm going to go with Van Jefferson because his targets have gone from 3, 3, 6 to 6. Rams defense hasn't been that great so far this year. And so it's going to force the offense to score more points. You got Tyler Higbee is questionable, and we already know that Robert Woods is not going to do very much this week, guys, because Robert Woods is on my team, so you can't trust him for anything. Seattle's defense, they're not very good either. So it's going to be a high-scoring game with the Seattle Seahawks, LA Rams. So give me some Van Jefferson.
I like it.
As the number 3 stardom of the week. Could take it to the bank.
No, I believe in this. I believe in this redemption.
I do. I like the Waddle pick.
Yeah.
Because they can go right there with Devontae Parker as well, because that secondary of the Bucs defense right now is all banged up. I think they got, three or four guys
got 30
out.
targets through the first 4 weeks, so that's something to keep in mind.
Well, and the best news for you guys is that none of these 3 guys that I picked are on my team.
Yeah,
So
sure.
none of them are on my team, which is guaranteed they're going to blow up. You can
I like
take
it.
it to the bank.
So I've got 2 out of 3 of them, and they're all on my bench because I'm so loaded. So, that's just how things
That's
roll.
rough.
So
Because you're a big baller.
I got
You're a big
Waddle.
baller.
I got Waddle and Van Jefferson.
Too many
on my
players
team.
on your team.
I need to make some trades and get rid of some of these guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm glad we got that off of our chest there, you guys, and thank you for us allowing to redeem ourselves as a group.
Did we not want to talk about Justin Tucker's 13 points?
Okay, well, see, here's the thing. Jason last week, of course, had his sit-ems where he said Saquon Barkley was a sit-em. He put up 29 points. Justin Tucker was a must-sit, put up
13 points.
You're to sit the best kicker of all time. Okay, 13 points. And then Chuba Hubbard got 8 points on the week. So that was Jason's picks. Tanner, want to talk about yours at all?
Yeah, I had Zeke that had 20 points. He actually came alive. It wasn't the Pollard show as much as I thought it would be. But then Damien Harris only had 5 points since last week. So those are my 2. So came out in the end with Harris on Sunday Night Football. But, yeah, Zeke showed up. I can't hate on it.
Yeah, and I had Chase Edmonds end up getting 17 points. A lot of that came on a big play there in that game. I think he had a 50-yarder sometime in the third quarter.
He had a couple
decent big
plays.
plays, absolutely. And then the other one was Cole Beasley, got 3 points. The Cole Beasley thing was exactly what I was predicting, like to a T, what I was predicting. So that thing was great. So it was overall not terrible on our sit-ems, but the start-ems this week should be better. That's the plan, absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, let's move along to our Kansas City Chiefs discussion here because obviously coming off a win, this is a great thing. Get back to the winning columns. If we went 1-3, we would not be very happy right now.
That would not be good.
Despite the fact the defense is the worst defense in the league, we'll discuss that here a little more. The offense is looking like the best offense in the league, considering a points per drive basis. So obviously they got to win versus the Eagles, 42-30. Got a big matchup coming up against the Bills here this weekend, Sunday Night Football. But, right now I'm happy that Mahomes leads the league in touchdowns with 14 touchdown passes at the moment. I think by the end of this season, we're going to see 60 be on the books for Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to break the touchdown record, especially with having the addition of Josh Gordon to the team. I think red zones are now undefendable, considering you have Kelsey, you have the shovel passes,
Hill.
you have Josh Gordon, you have Hill, who is always open in the red zone just by quickness alone. We have a question, by the way, Tanner, before we jump to the Chiefs. We have a fantasy question from Noah here. What does it say?
Should I trade A.J. Brown and Chris Godwin for DK Metcalf and Javonte Williams? I have a lot of receivers and need some running backs. It's PPR.
I'm a big fan of Chris Godwin. I think Godwin's a great player, even though he has some injury history. A.J. Brown currently obviously working through some injuries as well. DK Metcalf is a monster. Javonte Williams, the rumors are he's going to slowly take over more workload as the season progresses for the Broncos. So it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds. Depends on the structure of your team there, Noah, because I think that if you have lots of receivers here, you need some running backs. So if you're willing to give up the receiver depth between Brown and Godwin to add a Javonte Williams, that's fine. But I think if you want to add a running back, look for someone who's more solidified to maybe be that replacement for running back situations there, because we need to see more of Williams is all.
I feel like this is also a team that's possibly looking for running backs now and not looking at, hey, down the road in week 10, week 11.
Sure, of course. I mean, yeah, that's all. But you need to consider both situations. You want to get someone for now and someone you think they can long-term be an impact player for your team. And, Melvin Gordon right now and kind of always does have an injury bug going on. So that's something to keep in mind. So
Correct.
Williams could be, of course, an important guy. We have another one here from Joey. He needs 2 receivers. He's got Robert Woods, Tyler Boyd, Marvin Jones, Courtland Sutton, and Laviska Shenault. So out of those, let's see, we got 5 guys there. Jason, you know a lot about Robert Woods and your thoughts, and you know a lot about Tyler Boyd. If you need two out of that list, I like Cortland Sutton, and I like actually Robert Woods. So that's my two picks for that. What do you say for that list?
I would say yes to Robert Woods because he's ready to snap back because he hasn't done shit the whole year.
Right.
But yeah, outside of that, I'm not trusting any Denver Broncos receivers or the tight end.
Well, what I would say to that real quick
it's all, you guys know who started. It's going to be Drew Lock starting.
That's my point. Drew Lock, whenever Sutton had a great season 2 years ago, Drew Lock was his starting quarterback. He put up 1,200 yards receiving with Lock, and so why would that not still be the case?
But there's no chemistry. Like this is the first time
there's
he started.
What do you mean?
They've had a whole year before he got injured last year.
Yeah, the year before, Drew Lock was with him the whole year. They had 1,200 yards.
I'm just not buying it. I mean, Teddy is the starting quarterback of that team. So you throw Drew Lock in there, I'm benching all of those guys. I might start Noah Fant, but I'm not going to start any of those receivers. I just don't trust him because it's a brand new quarterback. It's a brand new season. You can't just say, oh, they did this, and this last year. Last year is a completely different season. I don't give a shit.
Sutton was injured all of last year, Jason. The point is, Drew Lock and him have connected before in the past, where Sutton had a great season. Like I said,
that's fine.
And Drew Lock likes to go he likes to take it deep.
Right, he likes to throw deep.
He's not a check down guy,
which is Sutton's best asset.
Yeah, he'll take the hits and he'll throw the interceptions, but he's going to go deep. And Sutton, the big body Sutton, like he is, the guy is coming off his injury just fine. He's going to be big points.
The other guys, though, so you don't like Sutton, so that's fine. So the other guys you mentioned off was Tyler Boyd, Laviska Shenault, and Marvin Jones. So which of those three would you like?
Well, I'm going to take Tyler Boyd
at
that point because he just interviewed today with my man Jim Rome on the Jim Rome podcast. So he's a great receiver.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Tyler Boyd because I trust him. But again, I'm not trusting Cortland Sutton just because he used to have good chemistry with Drew Lock. I mean, I'm not going to trust him for 1 week, just because.
Oh, I trust Sutton through the season. I'd make a trade for him.
Yeah.
So
no, I wouldn't do it.
So the inconsistency of Marvin Jones and Shenault is yes, they're going to be passing. The Jags are going to be passing because they're always going to be down pretty much. But I mean, where do you go? It could shift from week to week on those guys, right? You could have a hot Jones 1 week, you could have Shenault 1 week.
But I will say about Shenault, he's got great hands.
He does.
He's not going to be a guy that has big plays ever. He's slow. He runs good routes. He has great hands, but he's slow. So if you're expecting touchdowns and to have 100 yards, that's not going to happen.
No.
But he might have 7 catches for 50 yards.
Dude, you're not going to trust anybody on that team because of the whole Urban Meyer saga, which we will get to later on this show. I'm not trusting either one of those guys.
I don't let that hold against it, but yeah. So,
all right. Thank you guys so much for those questions. Happy to answer them anytime. All right, guys. Back to what we were talking about with the Chiefs. So, guys, I was looking into this awesome stat. Now, I say awesome. I'm being joking here. The current defense for the Chiefs right now is giving up 3.34 points per drive. That is the worst in the NFL. That is 32nd in the NFL. The next closest team was 2.9, and the Detroit Lions are 2.67. So the Chiefs are already giving up over 0.5 of a point per drive more than the Detroit Lions, who we all perceive to have maybe the worst defense in the league. The truth is, on a per-play basis and a per-drive basis, this Chiefs team is the worst defense in the league. This is 2018 over again. This is 2004 over again. And that's why Mahomes is going to throw 60 bombs. That's why he's going to throw 60 touchdowns. So basically, it's what stood out to me overall, because we're looking for glimmers of hope here with the defense. Overall, I think that there's some things to work with still figuring out whether or not Chris Jones can fit in as a defensive end on this team. Still haven't seen a whole lot. We've seen Mike Dana not give up on plays. That's a good thing. He's not necessarily making the plays because we've seen some coverage sacks happen.
So, yeah.
Because I think that, overall, Mike Hughes has moments that are good and some that are bad.
Mm-hmm.
But so, I try to find glimmers of hope here a little bit. And I think that Nick Bolton is somebody who we've seen make a few plays, corral to the ball, and do a good job that way. But overall, though, guys, the biggest thing I'm excited about right now, the offensive line really came alive this past week against the Eagles, against the good Eagles defensive line. So obviously right now, Creed Humphrey, based on Pro Football Focus's ratings, is third in the NFL as a center.
Yep.
And then the other guys between Joe Thuney and as well as Trey Smith are both in the top 10 as guards. So we have in the interior of our line right now, all three of those guys are in the top 10. The weaknesses, no, we're not surprised Lucas Nying struggling. Orlando Brown, though, is actually one of our weaknesses right now at the moment. So he's probably just trying to adjust and transition to the offense.
It's just kind of weird, though, that he would be the last one on the line.
I think he's getting used to it, and the system is totally different than what the Ravens ran as well. Correct. So that's something to consider. And the quarterback play. I mean, Mahomes in the pocket is different than Lamar.
Yeah.
This is a whole different situation.
I mean, I'm not worried about it by any means. I think Brown will come over time, and he'll be fine, But it's just, it is kind of surprising to see him there.
Yeah, Jason, what are your thoughts on the week overall?
It's very difficult to find a glimmer of hope, as you say, because, when I look at the landscape of the NFL, we've got not just the best quarterback in the league, we've got one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. But we also have, by some metrics, the second or the third worst defense in the history of the NFL. So when you say it's the worst defense in the league, it's a little bit worse than that. So in the first 4 weeks of the season, certain metrics say that we have the worst defense or the third worst defense in the history of the NFL.
I find that hard to believe.
It's true. It's true. But we're looking for a glimmer of hope here, Tanner. So when I look at that, I'm looking at the fact that the offense is amazing, okay? And we don't have to worry about the offense because Patrick Mahomes just threw 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Tyreek Hill damn well put up nearly a 50-burger in fantasy. And so we're not worried about the offense. It's going to be one of the greatest offenses that we've ever seen. But at the same time, it could be one of the worst defenses that we've ever seen. And so my glimmer of hope is that we've talked about it before on the show. When you look at Steve Spagnuolo, his defenses historically have been rather shitty during the regular season, but they step up in the postseason.
Correct.
And you guys know we don't care when we're talking about the Chiefs. We don't care about the regular season. This is championship or bust. And so when I look at the regular season, let's just get to the playoffs. I hope to God that the Chiefs can win at least 12, 13, 14 games. That's great. But I'm looking towards the postseason here before I see glimpses of the defense stepping up, because they're sure as fuck not going to step up, in the next couple of games.
No, and I think there's still adjustments to be made. Willie Gay's coming back from IR, right? So we're getting hopefully his talent back, and hopefully it stays, not getting.
He's got a lot to prove too, Tanner. Think about as a guy that's a rookie who didn't play that often, and then we saw some glimmers there in the preseason that looked good, some flashes,
Correct.
But we have all this hope and expectation of Willie Gay when he's literally proving nothing so far as a Chief.
I think it's just the glimpse and hope that we saw. We've seen from him.
We're grasping for straws, basically, and hoping that we got somebody
in the linebacking core.
At least a little bit. Because, he does have height, speed. The guy looks like he could be a playmaker for sure.
So, yeah, there's your hope. Hey, we get Willie Gay back, and maybe he's a direct impact. Time will tell, right?
Let me tell you your glimmer of hope, okay?
What's your glimmer of hope?
After we beat the Buffalo Bills, this is your glimmer of hope. We play Washington, Tennessee, and the Giants. That's your glimmer of hope to get it right. And we're talking about the defense, right? That's your chance to get right, those 3 games. But after that, it's all about the playoffs. We got to look forward to the playoffs and just hope that we have a decent record going into the playoffs, because I'm not a big believer in this defense right now. This defense sucks.
No, and it's rough. Even though we were winning against the Eagles, it didn't feel like we were winning against the Eagles. Just because there wasn't what we expected. There wasn't a turnover.
Guys, there was a no-punt game. It's hard to feel like you're winning when the defense is not doing their job and no one's punting.
And all they're doing is kicking field goals. Yeah,
for a turnover.
Great. But can we stop a team? Can we just stop a team before they kick a field goal?
I don't feel good when Jalen Hurts has a career-high 387 yards and 2 touchdowns, right?
He won't do that the rest of this season, guys.
And I understand that.
You won't.
And I think Jalen Hurts has a very good chance to have a really good career.
Yeah,
but
he impressed me.
You're sitting there looking at his stats, having career highs against the Chiefs. That's not good because Philadelphia is not that good of a team.
No, they're not.
They're not going to be in the playoffs.
No.
So that's a problem for me when we're seeing him putting up career highs, and on top of the fact that the Eagles had 3 touchdowns negated by penalties.
Yep.
And the Chiefs won 42-30. I mean, you tack on those other 3 touchdowns by the Eagles. I mean, who knows what the score? We would have lost.
Yep.
Right.
So we can't depend on these shitty ass teams to keep kicking themselves and shooting themselves in the foot.
It's definitely a big problem here. It's all it is. It's a big problem for the defense.
We're not trying to be naysayers, guys. We're just being honest about the situation and the state of the Chiefs right now. Because obviously, offensively, we're very excited about the addition of Josh Gordon and the fact that this is the best offense in the NFL right now.
Correct.
Even before Josh Gordon has come along. So we proved a lot to ourselves with Sammy Watkins being removed from the team, and that was an issue during the past when Watkins would miss games or be removed from the team for whatever reason. Then obviously there was a time where I think that the Chiefs failed a little bit on offense. And so I think that adding Josh Gordon adds a little bit of Sammy Watkins back to the team. And so that's something that I'm hoping this week he'll be back and be involved within the game plan against the Buffalo Bills. Back, when I say back, I mean back to the NFL, of course.
Correct.
So last real experience he's had is from 2018. And so I think the addition of Josh Gordon, as long as he plays here, I think it's going to be awesome to watch unfold. I think he will get plenty of playing time right away. Now, some people are wondering who's going to get cut or whatever. Like, Mecole's still going to be packaged in for certain plays. And I think we might see a little less of D-Rob, which is going to be a big positive. It's going to be addition by subtraction.
I'll take that.
But it's having him off the field more. And so that's going to be great. Gordon can be our new D-Rob. That's going to be awesome. But, guys, the thing is with the Bills is that they have the best defense in the league right now. On current statistics, current points per game, current yards, all those things, and they turn the ball over. And so they're doing their job. They're the only team right now to allow less than 1,000 yards total. In fact, it's in the 800s. The next closest team to them is over 1,000 yards allowed so far this season. And so points per game or points per drive allowed is 0.79 points per drive allowed right now.
And look at the average drive time for the Bills for the opponent stats. 2 minutes and 13 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That is the drive time for the opponents that are facing.
So you're going 3 and out quick.
Yeah,
normally.
You're not going. So the Chiefs, if you want to compare it to the Chiefs, we're at 309 on our average drive for the opponents. Like,
because they have the ball for a long time, they can move whatever. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. So that's kind of a concern looking at it from a Chiefs standpoint going into this game, because obviously teams aren't successful, but our offensive side, when we have the ball, we're at 320 for offensive time. So we have a chance to really, as long as we can maneuver our offense and not turn the freaking ball over, I think we'll be fine still.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game as far as slowing down the Bills' passing game, because that's what they do best. The Chiefs' defense will struggle once again. That's going to come naturally playing against the Bills right now, because the defense has a lot to prove, and they're not going to be ready for everything. But I expect Travis Kelce to be the one really exploding in this game. Team's going to be concerned about Gordon, concerned about Tyreek. Kelce against those linebackers, which is their weakness of their defense, is going to be a mismatch all day long.
I fully agree with you there. I think this is Kelce's big game. Like, Tyreek had his two already this season.
Kelce's already had 2 as well.
I mean, not but Tyreek.
Kelce has a 100-yard something game.
Yeah.
Easy. 100 yards.
It's going to be 2 touchdowns.
That's going to be Kelce this week.
I think it'll be the Kelce show for sure.
It will be. Jason, what do you think of the game?
Yeah, I feel really good about this game because I think the Bills are going to regress in 2 different categories. So right now, Buffalo is number 2 in points per game. So they're scoring 33.5 points per game. I think they're going to regress on that. And then on the other side, they're also the number 1 defense in the NFL, only giving up 11 points per game. They're just due to regress on both of those points. And so I think, going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, that seems to be their kryptonite, at least as far as Josh Allen's career is concerned. And so I think you're going to see a regression there. And Chiefs are only favored by -2.5. I mean, the Bills they're not going to win this game, guys. Not going to win that game at Arrowhead, and they're gonna shit the bed. They're gonna regress on defense and offense.
Yeah, that's big statements from you, JG. I mean, I know we did our pick'ems. If you guys give us a follow on TikTok, you can go see them there at Sports Buffoons. You will see our pick'ems of the week. We got 6 games we go over, 6 with a 1 here, 6 games to go over. And so we did pick the Chiefs game, and Jason already gave it away. I'm not going to tell you guys my pick. So you have to go click over there and check it out for you guys to find out all of our picks of the week. Plus, Jason's Easy Money Bet of the Week is also on there as well. So he's trying to make you guys money, and you don't always listen. And when you do, sometimes you make money, sometimes you don't. But it depends on who's listening. So
you're going to make money this week because I'm sober, right?
Okay.
So take it to the bank. You're going to make money this week.
Gotcha. Well, guys, one of the issues with the defense that I'm finding is that Sorensen's playing every down. And, we are seeing Daniel Sorensen playing every down. The guy's not made an impact this season really whatsoever. He's leading the team in missed tackles. I don't really understand the infatuation with Daniel Sorensen. I think that there's moments he stood out, moments he's made big plays as his career for the Chiefs has unfolded. It's been 8 years now, you guys, for Daniel Sorensen with the Chiefs. And Andy Reid loves him. Andy Reid loves Sorensen. BYU guy, Mormon. I mean, that's all about Andy Reid's style. That's what he loves. Andy Reid's a Mormon himself. Juan Thornhill is not getting any playing time still with this team. He's playing a few plays here and there. He did miss a tackle this past week. I did pick up on that. But really, the guy's just not getting playing time. The guy wants to be on the field. He wants to prove himself. And the thing is, his rookie year, he was a full-time starter. Yeah, he was playing pretty much every snap his rookie year. Year 2 came along, and it just wasn't the same. And it's really not been the same since that rookie year, which is weird. Like the guy shouldn't be regressing; he should be progressing. And so right now, got a combined, as you guys see on the screen here, if you're following on YouTube, 10 combined tackles. He has 1 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, and 117 snaps so far. And since week 2, though, 14, 29, and 42%. So he did see a few more plays.
He was. I could tell he was in the game a little bit more last time.
Right.
Than the past couple of weeks.
He's playing a little more of that free safety role is what I picked up on overall. But, guys, I'm going to play a little game with you guys. Juan Thornhill, what did he do to piss off Andy Reid?
What do you got, Jason? You start.
Well, first of all, Daniel Sorensen is 31 years old, right? So I'm ready to move on. He makes great plays every once in a while, but we need more consistency at that position. But my theory here is that Juan Thornhill got into the doghouse with Andy Reid by Juan Thornhill was basically by himself in the film room, and instead of watching game film, Andy Reid walked in on him, and Juan Thornhill was caught watching a YouTube of the Tourette's guy being buried alive. And so after Andy Reid saw him watching that fucking video, he's like, dude,
oh, no.
he's in my doghouse. I'm done with this motherfucker.
And the Tourette's guy gets drunk all day, and that's a big no-no for Andy Reid.
Right. So now all of a sudden he thinks Juan Thornhill's probably going to want to get drunk too every day.
Tanner, I got 3 for you. 3 ideas of what Juan Thornhill did to get himself in the doghouse.
You got 3?
For Andy Reid. So I want you to pick your favorite of my 3, and then I want to hear your theory.
Okay.
I have 3 theories here.
I want to hear this, guys.
One of them is Juan Thornhill stole Andy's magic underwear.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
Okay.
The other one is Thornhill was actually caught stealing Andy's cheeseburgers after a loss, and we all know you only get cheeseburgers after a win.
Nah, that ain't happening. So.
What's not happening?
Juan Thornhill's not stealing Andy Reid's cheeseburgers.
Okay.
Period.
My last one is that Thornhill threw Andy's favorite Hawaiian shirt in with the white clothes and bleached it. And that is now why Juan Thornhill is being punished in the doghouse for all these mistakes.
That's the logical reason.
Right.
Yeah, has to be.
I haven't seen Andy wear a Hawaiian shirt since Juan Thornhill got benched.
It's a good point.
So,
dun, dun, dun.
It's a good point.
So actually, my theory is similar to Jason's, but it's not really watching a YouTube video. Andy Reid and Spags walked in on Juan Thornhill playing Fortnite instead of watching a film. And then he lost in Fortnite. So now, not only are you benched because you're playing Fortnite and you lost, when I walked in,
Well, here's the question: was he merely playing Fortnite, or was he jerking off while playing Fortnite? Because that's a big problem.
nah. I think we probably would have heard about that. I think it's
No,
more,
I don't think you would have heard about it.
I think it's more of him not winning in the sense like if he was playing Fortnite and won, maybe he'd get a little bit more playing time. But it was the fact that he walked in when he was supposed to be watching a film, he was playing Fortnite or Call of Duty, and he lost.
I appreciate all
He
that.
lost.
But no, he was watching the Tourette's guy, and you know that.
Could have been watching the Tourette's guy and eating a cheeseburger at the same time, and Andy got pissed off.
Because
So,
he didn't have anything for it.
You never know. You never know what happened, but we'll find out maybe soon enough when we see Juan Thornhill back on the field again a little more often. All right, guys. So, Jason, you want to have a little discussion here with us for a couple minutes about Urban Meyer and your thoughts on Urban Meyer and his little incident he had a few days ago out at a bar. And the Jaguars are 0-4.
Keep talking. Yep.
So, obviously, that's an issue. But they've lost their 19 games in a row.
I think we got film on this. Can I show the film?
I want to see.
If you look at the film here, you
pull
guys look at the screen here. Here we go. What is he doing? So yeah, that was the film. Did you see that last part there? Did you?
Oh, absolutely. And
That's
you know what?
ridiculous.
You know what? I almost don't blame him. He's doing it. He's doing his thing. He's out there having a good time, partying it up. Now your team's lost 19 games in a row. Now, not all that's your fault, but
It's
the
pretty
four
much his
losses.
fault.
The 4 losses are your fault. I should say. But I mean, when you just need to hang out, let loose a little bit. I mean, he's used to a college town and hitting on 21-year-olds. What's wrong with that? I mean,
Finger in the butt too.
little squeeze and all that. I mean, hey, she was enjoying it. This was consensual. So, guys, I don't have a problem with what Urban Meyer's doing other than he is the head coach of an NFL franchise that currently sucks ass. So,
After a
that's my
loss
biggest
on a Thursday
that's my
night.
biggest problem with whatever Urban Meyer's out there doing at bars. And his little interview afterwards where he kind of was goofing around. You saw his mannerisms. His body was kind of shaking back and forth. Head was down. I shouldn't have been out that late. I should have just gone home. And, pouting like a little baby almost during his interview. It's like you're not coming off as very mature and your own teammates are laughing at you. They're laughing at you.
They didn't forgive him at all either.
No,
So.
everyone right now thinks he's a joke, and that at the end of the day is the biggest problem with this whole thing. So, Jason, just tell me your thoughts on Urban
What do you
Meyer.
got, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, when you listen to the guy's interview on Thursday night after losing that game, he said he acted like he was depressed. Like this was very difficult loss.
Like you're playing Alabama every week?
Yeah, it was just very depressing answers, and he didn't really know how to act. So that's why I call him Urban Liar. I don't call him Urban Meyer. I call him Urban Liar, and that's because he lied to the media. Like he sat there and said, I'm having a difficult time with this loss, and we need to get this team straightened out. And then all of a sudden he wants to go out and party, right?
On a Thursday
Wants
night,
to go out and
after
party
a
on a
loss,
fucking Thursday
and not
night.
play back with your boys.
But here's the thing, guys. Like, on the surface, he didn't really do anything wrong, okay? So Urban Meyer owns the bar, right? He owns that restaurant where that chick came up and started grinding on him. And as far as leaving his team is concerned, the team flew back without him. These guys are grown men, okay? So these guys aren't children sitting in a class where they teach Common Core, okay? These are grown men. They can fly back on the plane by themselves. It's not a big deal. And Urban Meyer can stay back and do whatever the hell he wants. And so, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't really do anything wrong here. I mean, he went and partied. He owns the restaurant. It's not his fault. That chick came up and started grinding on him.
She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, of course.
She knew who he was.
I mean, the bottom line, he didn't do anything wrong. In fact, my point on this whole topic is I encourage more coaches to go down this road. And because the thing of it is that alcohol, when you drink alcohol, it opens up your mind, and you might actually come up with a better game plan. You're sitting there like a guy like Urban Meyer. You're 0-4. You have a shitty-ass team. What are you going to do? You got to find a remedy. So you're going to start taking that medicine. And so my theory here is that he did the right thing. I hope that more coaches start getting drunk after devastating losses like this. I mean, Urban Meyer's 0-4. He's coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars. And at some point, you're going to run out of options, right? And to all of these people out here that want to sit there and judge Urban Meyer, I'm going to tell you right now, take a look in the fucking mirror, right? Okay? Because if you're going to sit there and judge somebody for basically not doing anything wrong, I mean, who are you to judge
And also,
him?
you don't know his relationship with his wife either. Maybe she doesn't give a damn if he's
Doesn't matter.
groping a 21-year-old who obviously is interested in accepting.
It just doesn't matter. I mean, you don't know what's going on with him in his personal life. So the moment you start to judge somebody else for their personal life, you need to take a fucking look in the mirror. But for me, Urban Meyer didn't do shit wrong, and I fully encourage, especially coaches like Bill Belichick, who have started to regress in their coaching career. You start to lose a couple of games, go out and get drunk and see if that opens your mind a little bit. And then you might have to you might have a few better ideas about how to coach the game.
Well, guys, think about like as a writer. Some of the best authors and writers of all time, they get their best thoughts and ideas out with a few glasses of whiskey. And so same thing as a coach, especially game planning.
I mean,
That's a thing that can actually help.
Is this really all about the personal and nothing about the team?
The team sucks.
Well, the team
It doesn't matter if they suck.
the team was going to suck regardless.
It does. Yeah,
But
we already knew they were going to suck. I think Urban knew they were going to suck.
I think more of the problem is the team doesn't respect him.
He doesn't respect it. It was a Thursday night. You lost on a field goal, last second field goal, Thursday night, and you don't fly back with your guys, right? So
Right.
now you're not with the team after the loss. Now you're not. Now you're sitting there and now you're embarrassing the team. The players are like, "You're a joke. Why are you out doing this when we can't even do that?"
The players are grown men, okay?
Yeah.
What they do
They're
on the
pissed about
field
it.
has nothing to do with what their coach does off of the
This
field.
has-
Do you understand what I'm
This
saying?
is part of the problem in Jacksonville, though. This is the part of the problem. Is your leader, right, is out doing bullshit when he's not sitting here game planning for the next week. He's not sitting here reviewing tape.
Dude, they're 0-4, okay? Give
Yeah.
them, if they're sitting there at 0-8, 0-9, 0-10, then we can talk about getting them fired.
Okay, so when they're 0-10,
But-
we'll bring back this.
Sure, but if they're
'Cause this is gonna be the
0-4,
problem, and
like
he's fired.
the season barely started, you're not going to fire the guy because who are you going to bring in? You're going to bring in some
Bob Sutton.
idiot? Oh, yeah.
They already
You're gonna
talked
bring in
about it.
some other idiot
Look,
who's
they-
not going to get drunk and he's going to
They already got
produce
options
more
out there.
losses.
Look, even the owner was like, you got to build trust with me again.
The owner doesn't
Well,
care, dude.
They're
The
more
owner,
concerned-
hey,
cares.
they're more
just to be
concerned with the image.
Shah Khan, this guy cares.
He does not care.
He is very
Okay?
involved.
The media has pressured him to pretend like he cares. He does not care,
He
and
does.
neither does Urban
He
Meyer.
cares
okay?
about winning.
So let's.
That's what he cares about.
You don't win like
Here's the thing: if the Jaguars were 4-0 and Urban Meyer was doing this, this would be not a discussion.
No, it wouldn't be.
That's the difference. If
But
they
you're 0-4 and your team is embarrassed by you, and they're 0-4.
Bottom line is, let this guy do his job, and if he goes 0-17, then fuck him. Then all of a
All
sudden,
I'm
you
gonna
guys
say-
can all come out and say, "Oh, fire his
This-
ass because he's a drunk."
This reminds me of Nick Saban all over
It's
again.
not why.
Nick Saban, a great college head coach, coming to NFL and immediately figuring out, whoa, this isn't for me. This isn't going to work out, and then going right back to college where he's once again successful. Urban Meyer might be something similar to that, where a successful college coach
And go to USC.
tries,
But at
then
least
they go
give
to
him a
USC.
chance. Give him a chance. Don't just sit there and trash his personal life because your own life sucks.
Yeah.
Which is what the
No.
media does every day.
They're not doing
They
that
don't
because
just
of
do it in
personal
sports.
life.
They do it in all facets of life. They look in the mirror. They hate their own life. So the best thing they can find to do is trash Urban Meyer or some other
It's
fuck.
I hear very very little about his personal life. It's more team wise.
I think people think it's funny that he was out there doing
It
that
is funny
more
though.
than anything.
Yeah.
But it's almost a thing where it's like it's funny, but also at the same time, they know the situation of the team that he's currently coaching and how they are so
I mean,
terrible.
just think like if Andy Reid got caught in this situation, right? When we were 1 and what are we 1 and
Well-
2, right? Coming off that bad start of a season, I'm pretty sure everybody else would be pissed.
Okay,
about
that brings me to my next topic then, you guys. I have a question for you. Now talk about Urban Meyer. If we were all, we all like to have a few drinks here and there, And if you had to have a moment with a head coach, all time, past or present, you could go get drunk with them. Who would that coach be? Because my guy, Tanner, one of my top guys would be Todd Haley. I would love to. I would love to go out with that asshole. I would love to go hang out with Todd Haley.
I want to hear the Derek Johnson story. I want to hear. I want to hear like all the different stories he had experienced.
He's gonna sit there and bitch about how the Chiefs are mean to him and all this other stuff. But Todd Haley, Tanner, was a coach in 2009, that was brought along and was getting drunk before practice. And he was a guy that was well known for drinking. This is the story from Ryan Lilja, who has a lot of info on Todd Haley's experience in Kansas City and how Haley was going out to clubs and concerts the night before practices. And this was a fact. These things happen. And he was a big time drinker as well. So Todd Haley, though, all that aside, and even though he wasn't the best coach ever by any means, and ended up being real shitty towards the end of his career with the Chiefs, I would love to go have a drink with Todd Haley. Not just one drink. I want to get fucking hammered with Todd Haley.
A couple bottles.
I think that so win from today, though, I would say Bruce Arians would be fun.
Oh yeah,
Bruce Arians seems like he would be the guy. He's like 70 years old. You walk into his house, his mansion, and he's already got like bottles lined up on the table of whatever the hell you want, all kinds of cool vodka and tequila. And you're gonna walk in, he's gonna do a shot with you real quick, and then he's gonna pour you some fancy ass drink, and then probably gonna have a craft beer at some point too, because he seems like one of those little hipster old guys too. So I think he just likes a mixture of it all. Bruce Arians would be fun to party with. Like as an old dude, like I could totally get down with him.
Yeah. What do you got, Jason?
Well, I got to throw out Adam Gase, right? The guy that looks like shit. He looks like he's drunk all the time. He's a shitty ass coach. I would want to get drunk with him while he's sober during all those fucking press conferences that he did with the Jets, and just ruined. He ruined that fucking team. And he also ruined the Miami Dolphins. But like that guy actually looks like he's hammered, but he's actually sober. He's got something wrong with his eyes.
Isn't it amazing though that Peyton Manning carried him?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like,
he bought his whole career.
He
carried his ass.
That literally, it's just that little span with Peyton Manning, and that was everything
and
else.
And the thing is, Peyton Manning called the plays.
Yes.
So who cares about Adam Gase?
Exactly. That's the
I want to talk about Adam Gase. Okay, that's not even my real answer. By the way, I just want to.
I know we got off topic.
I'd love to throw that name out there, Adam Gase. He's a guy. He's the ultimate jack, just a guy. But you guys know I'm an NBA guy and I'm a basketball guy. That's my first love. So my favorite coach to get drunk with would be none other than Quinn Snyder, formerly the coach of the Missouri Tigers basketball team. He actually played for Duke Blue Devils 1985 to 1989. Went on to coach the Missouri Tigers 1999 to 2006. Those college teams for Mizzou didn't really do shit, but then he went on to coach the Austin Toros, the D-League affiliate of the San Antonio Spurs, which is my favorite team of all time. And he actually won Coach of the Year coaching the Austin Toros in 2009, but he also is the current coach of the Utah Jazz. And that's a really good team right now. He coached the 2021 All-Stars under Team LeBron. So Team LeBron won the 2021 All-Star game last year. They beat Team Durant 170 to 150. And, Quinn Snyder was the coach of that team, but he's been around for so long. I mean, he's 54 years old. He just seems like a really cool guy. Like, I would just want to go out with him and get fucking smashed.
Yeah, no, I don't. Todd Haley was mine.
So basically, Tanner, you and I both are going to hang out with Todd Haley.
I want to hear all those stories.
That's what's going to happen.
So if I
dude, you're a Missouri Tiger fan. You would want to hang out with Quinn.
I don't know a damn thing about basketball, so no, I don't. I wouldn't.
But you love the Missouri Tigers.
That doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, but I would hang out with Gary Pinkel
all day. Yeah.
But Quinn Snyder, I just don't care.
No, so if I had to pick a different coach, Mike Tomlin would be one. He just looks like a guy that would have a lot of stories and just hear success and everything. He'd be one. Dusty Baker would be another, just because of all the teams he's touched, different clubhouses he's been in the Major League Baseball world. But yeah, Todd Haley was a big one. I think Jason. I think somebody I would want to hang out with would be Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, he's coached with so many people, played in the NBA.
Played for the Spurs. I love that pick.
This is also a guy that looks like somebody that would sit back, like you show up, he'd have a box of cigars ready to go, pour some scotch or some whiskey in straight, and just kick back on a sunset view of the ocean or something.
Dude, I love that pick because he actually played for the Spurs back in the day, but he also is a guy that during this offseason, he's been in the news all day long because he threw Ben Simmons under the bus, and then he pretended that he didn't throw Ben Simmons under the bus. So, like, I love that pick. I would love to hang out with Doc Rivers.
I say Doc Rivers would probably be my guy then, outside of Todd Ayler.
Very fun. It's a little dream we can all have to all get together and get drunk with our favorite coaches, you know. Whoever's going to be the most party animal, you know, get them out there and bring them out to the other place. And
the main thing is
some karaoke, Tanner. You know, your favorite thing.
Hey, I can't go.
The main thing is we need to talk about more NBA shit on this show.
We have,
the season.
Let's go, man.
You know, if you guys are listening right now, if you listen back a few months ago, that's all we did. We spent 1 hour every week talking about the goddamn NBA, and that'll have its time again one day. But for now, it's the NFL season, so that's what we're going to stick with. And
one more month, guys. One more month.
When Kansas City gets an NBA team, we're going to have a lot more to talk about. We'll have to extend this show to like 2 hours then.
Yeah, we will.
So, all right, guys. After that, we got one more segment here for you guys listening out here for the Sports Buffoons clan. Top 5 quarterback rankings as of right now through the quarter of the way through the season. And I can't even say a quarter. It's a 3.75 of the way through the season, you know, because we have 17 games, whatever.
Are we going to do like did last week where we all go around number 5?
Let's do that, guys. Let's do that real quick. Okay, so we're gonna do it this way. We're going to stop with 5. You say your 5. We're just going to go in order.
Jason, I think you should announce each number, though, because you did a hell of a job last week.
Do it.
So I think Jason starts each time.
So we're going to start at number 5.
Yeah, number 5. And then I'll go after you.
All right, so before we start this list, guys, I need to throw out the fact that we had somebody tweet into the show last week talking about the fact that our show was discredited because we said that Justin Herbert was a better quarterback than Derek Carr. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true because you look at those two guys' stats. And just to be clear, neither one of those guys are on my list right now. But when you look at Justin Herbert, he's number 9 in completion percentage. Derek Carr is number 21 completion percentage. Okay, so it's not even close. I understand both of their teams are 3-1, but to me, and you guys, I'm sure will all agree with me, Justin Herbert is by far a better quarterback than Derek Carr. And here we go, number 5. Number 5, guys, I've got Matthew Stafford, and so the reason I took him at number 5 is because he's got the number 3 overall passing rating, number 12 completion percentage at 68%, which is better than Aaron Rodgers. His team's doing very well. They are 3-1. So I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford at number 5.
I like that pick a lot, Jason. Matthew Stafford is awesome without a doubt. Now, back to that commenter that spoke about that. I mean, to me, I'm going to open up this pumpkin ale here. He's just a little pumpkin. I'd say he's a pumpkin, but really he's a blumpkin. Now, if you guys know what a blumpkin is, I'm not going to tell you. You got to Google it. So you can click on the search engine bar and you can find out what a blumpkin is.
As I like to call it, the Mikeism.
That's how I feel about that commenter. He thought we were discredited from our thoughts because we said Herbert was better. Speaking of Justin Herbert, that is my number 5 quarterback on my rankings.
He cracked the top 5.
That is right. Justin Herbert's in my top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL as of right this moment. So, Mr. Blumpkin, you can shove it right up your anus. Tanner, go out.
This list was really hard to make, by the way, because there's like guys that took out and put in, and it was just difficult. So, my guy through so far this season, number 5, is Kyler Murray. He beat Stafford. The guys performed really well. Their team is the only undefeated team. Number 5 deserves Kyler Murray.
Number 4. All right, the JG is going to take Dak Prescott as the 4th best quarterback in the league right now. He is number 2 in completion percentage, which is better than Matthew Stafford. He's also number 4 in passer rating. He's got 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he's got a 3-1 record. Cowboys are looking good. So I've got Prescott, number 4.
My number 4 guy here is actually my fantasy quarterback at the moment. Russell Wilson is my number 4 on my list, which some of you might think is overvalued, but this is also a guy who has not turned the ball over through the air yet this season. 9 touchdowns passing, no interceptions, and the team is 2-2 not because of Russell Wilson. We're 2-2 because that defense is also not very good. So Russell Wilson is a playmaker. The guy actually leads the league right now in quarterback rating, so take that into account. He is very deserving of number 4 at the moment, and he's making big plays with Tyler Lockett, and I think DK Metcalf will start to come around a little more here as the season unfolds. That's my guy.
Number 4 for me is a guy that continues to lead his team despite injuries on the defensive side. I would go to war with this guy, and I would trust him to lead my offense less than 2 minutes to go score that game-winning field goal or the touchdown. Tom Brady is my number 4.
Number 3. All right, I can appreciate that Tom Brady pick. He's actually outside of my top 5 altogether. Number 3 is going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's got the second highest passer rating at 119.6. He's only 5th in yards, but he has the most touchdowns while having to support the shittiest defense of all time in that Chiefs defense. He's got 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Pat Mahomes is my number 3.
Wow. Interesting. My number 3 is Super Bowl champion from last year. Obviously, Tom Brady is what I'm talking about. Sitting right now with 10 passing touchdowns, 2 picks on the year. Just beat his former team. He's sitting at 3-1 on the season. Now, I thought the Patriots played very well against Tom the other day, and I thought that was a great game.
I agree.
But at 44 years old, the guy has a lot of talent around him, but he's still playing phenomenal football. He's as sharp as they get. It's hard to deny that whatsoever. I think that as the season rolls on, we'll continue to see him develop like we always do. And then he gets closer to the playoffs, when things really matter, he will turn it up even more and probably jump back up even the number 2. But for right now, my number 3 is Tom Brady.
Number 3 for me is a guy that lost a total of 5 playmakers before the season started. And then he became pretty much the soul, and this team is running right now. What are they, 3-1? Lamar Jackson, guys, Baltimore Ravens quarterback. This guy is the Ravens. Without Lamar, there is no Ravens. You lose Lamar, you're done. You're finished. They got Bateman coming back here. That's going to be a nice addition. There's got Le'Veon Bell, who's probably a scrub still, but who cares? Lamar Jackson is making this team win. He puts them in the spot to win. He's got the cojones to continue to carry this team. So I'm going Lamar Jackson at 3 for me.
I love me some Lamar Jackson. I love me some running quarterbacks. Number 2. It is the great Russell Wilson. I understand what you guys are thinking out there. Oh, he's 2-2, only a 500 record. Well, guess what? He's got 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So he's got the highest passer rating in the league right now, 129.9. So Russell Wilson, even though that team doesn't look so great right now, he's got my vote for the second best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I like it because Russell is a playmaker without a doubt, and he's an improviser. So I love dudes that can do that. So speaking of improvisers, I got the basically the second coming of Russell Wilson as my number 2, Kyler Murray of Arizona. Nice. He fits in perfectly with the weapons they got going on there. The guy's in year 3 right now of the NFL. Absolutely playing phenomenal at 5'10", 207 pounds. The guy can scramble. The guy can throw. I mean, right now we're sitting with 9 touchdowns passing, 4 picks, but 76% completion percentage right now, which leads the league, I believe. That's amazing. That's a great completion percentage. That means this guy's putting the ball where it needs to be. And I love the old, the saying about, short quarterbacks would never make it. Well, we all saw Flutie, and we all made, we had fun with that, right? It was fine. But basically, it was like you had to be 6 feet or taller to make it. Guys like Wilson and Kyler Murray's even shorter have proven that wrong at this point. So, Kyler Murray right now with the combination of weapons out there in Arizona between Hopkins and, A.J. Green now has 2 touchdowns on the year.
He started coming alive.
I love it. Kyler Murray's doing everything I wanted, and he leads all of fantasy in points.
Awesome. Number 2, guys, for me, we rave about him every week, week in, week out. Patrick Mahomes, number 2, is on my list. The guy is unbelievable. He threw for 5 touchdowns last week. He's consistently going to be a high scorer. Mike talked about it. He could hit 60 touchdowns this year. So I'm going number 2, Patrick Mahomes. I think he is the second best quarterback in the league as of today.
Yeah, when I think of Mahomes, he's basically like Jordan back in the day. He's like, you always know he's like the best player in the league, but right now I'm just talking about the first 4 weeks. So we are going to go with number 1. So, guys, right now through the first 4 weeks of the season, the best quarterback in the league is none other than Kyler Murray. And as Mike was saying a while ago, he does have the highest completion percentage in the NFL at 76%. That's not too bad for a quote-unquote running quarterback, and he also has a 4-0 record. So until somebody beats this guy, I mean, he's got 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns. You know, somebody's got to come over and dethrone this guy. But right now, Kyler Murray is the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I'm going to debate you on that a little bit, but Patrick Mahomes is my guy as number 1 quarterback in the league right now, sitting at 72% completion percentage, which is looking great. That's right now currently his best he's ever done through this stage. Leads the league in touchdown passes at 14, and overcoming a lot because that is the worst defense in the league, which means he's constantly having to push the ball downfield. You know, we can't play it safe whatsoever. The guy's having to score points every possession, which they basically are. Tommy Townsend has 6 punts on the season, which is amazing. So Patrick Mahomes is just the one carrying the entire team at the moment. We're going to love the addition of Josh Gordon. That's going to help him even more, put up more stats, build that even more of that legacy of putting together really what's going to become the best season of all time for a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, no matter what, that is my guy. He's the one I trust to get the job done at the end of the day. He's the MVP of the league this year. As of right now, in my mind, he's the MVP.
I agree on that part. My number 1 guy is 64.5% completion percentage, 807 passing yards, 8 touchdowns. He had a rough game 1, but since then he has turned it on and he has continued to dominate. He also helped with his domination, helped open the running game up for his team as well. And recently, even A.J. Dillon's alive, guys. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is my number 1 quarterback as of through 4 weeks. There's no other quarterback right now.
You know why I'm proud of you? Because you didn't say Derek Carr.
I'm
so proud of you right now, dude.
No, I can't.
In fact, I'm gonna pay you your salary next week just because you didn't say Derek Carr.
I'm pretty sure Derek Carr isn't in my top.
I thought you were going to say Sam Darnold at first. I got scared.
Oh my god.
No, I wasn't going to go Sam Darnold. But no, Aaron Rodgers, guys. He's just Aaron Rodgers. Like he has one bad game.
He's a baller.
And then he just beats people. Beats people. So Aaron Rodgers is my number 1.
I get it, you guys. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap up the show here tonight? And, I want to appreciate our commenters there who had a few questions, and we're going to fit in some time that way. So any other further topics or thoughts before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I just want to point out that, I understand all the passing yards that Derek Carr is thrown for. Like, he's not even close, dude. Like, just get over yourself.
Right. And that's why, Blumpkin, get over yourself. We all know Derek Carr.
Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror.
It's a pansy. All right, Tanner. Any final thoughts?
Nah, I got none. Hey, baseball started. Baseball playoffs.
Sure.
Exciting times.
Baseball playoffs. All right, guys. Well, I guess we will see how the Chiefs do this weekend, obviously. Give us a follow on the TikToks, the Twitters. Obviously, get subscribed here to YouTube because we're here every single week for you guys. And then those of you on Spotify, you guys are my true love. Don't worry out there. I've never forgotten about you guys. So
Spotify, Apple, Anchor, whatever you guys listen to.
Of course, those as well. So those are my favorite dudes out there because they are there from day one before we even began YouTube, you guys. So those are my favorite dudes forever.
And for more content from the Sports Buffoons, guys, check out the TikToks. TikTok at Sports Buffoons. We post every couple days here with some new content. So check it out.
All right, guys. I will see y'all on the next one.
Sports Buffoons, we're out.
See you guys.